everybody, and welcome back to my channel. I'm AshleyElyse for those of you who are new here, and for those of you who are returning, thank you so much for coming back. As you can tell by the title of today's video, I want to talk about my personal experience getting the Mirena IUD. I don't know if I'm saying that right. That's just how I pronounce it. I think I've heard it Mirena, you know, everybody kind of pronounces it differently. But I thought that this might be helpful for some of you guys who are looking into different birth control options and who maybe want to have a little more information than just what the doctor is going to give you or the information that you're going to read off of the packaging or whatever. I had my IUD put in back in, I believe it was December. I had mine put in because I've got Novely right now and we are not looking to have any more children as of this point. I selected the Mirena because I wanted something that was going to be breastfeeding friendly. A lot of the birth control options that you have, they mess with your hormones a lot and they're just not very good for breastfeeding. They can decrease your milk supply. So I decided to go ahead and do the Mirena IUD option. You don't have to remember to take a pill. You put it in, it stays in for up to 5 years, and then you have to go back in and have it replaced or taken out if you want to have kids. If you want to conceive prior to that, you do need to have that taken out by your OB, or I guess in this case it would be a gyne doctor, not necessarily an OB. My OB gyne doctor, one and the same. So that was actually a really great experience. The way my office worked was I told them that I wanted to go ahead and do the IUD option, and basically they had to have their office call my insurance company to make sure that it was approved. And sorry, I might be a little distracted because I'm feeding Novely. She just woke up from a nap, my baby girl. Yeah. Anyway, so they had to call and get that approved, and then afterwards they said that they would have somebody call me to schedule the appointment. I think that took a few days to get that approved through my insurance company, and then they scheduled me. The only instruction that they told me was to take 800 milligrams of ibuprofen prior to my appointment to help with any pain and discomfort. For those of you guys who know me, or even if you guys have just followed my journey on my channel, you guys would know that I went through a lot of pain during my pregnancy. I don't think I necessarily have a high pain tolerance, but I did go through a lot of pain. I had to have my gallbladder taken out after I was induced. I don't know, probably a couple weeks after, I think, is when I finally had it done. So I was pretty used to pain at that point. I didn't really feel any of my contractions because I was in severe back pain when I was induced. So there was just a lot of pain in my pregnancy. I don't know if that had anything to do with it, but I didn't really have a whole lot of pain with the procedure. I say procedure, I mean it's nothing too extensive or anything. Basically, once I got there, they had me undressed from the waist down, just like you would for really any gyne appointment. They did a quick pap smear. So they insert the speculum, and I am not a medical professional, but this is just my personal experience. I did work in the medical field for a time, so I'm familiar with some of the terms. Anyway, they insert the speculum, and then of course they have to get back to, I believe it's the uterus, and it's kind of like a T-shaped thing that goes into your uterus. Anyway, so they have to get back into there, which is kind of uncomfortable. There's a really sharp pinch, and basically for me, the whole time, the whole procedure and afterwards, it really just felt like severe period cramps. I've never been a super crampy person with my periods, but this would be an extreme one for me. There was definitely bleeding. The procedure itself was really quick and easy. She put it in, no problem. Like I said, it was somewhat uncomfortable, but easy peasy. She clipped the strings to make sure that it wouldn't interfere with anything intercourse-wise, and that it wouldn't get, pulled out, because I guess the strings are pretty long. So she went ahead and clipped those. Yeah. And then basically I was done. She told me that it could last for up to 5 years, and that if I wanted to have it taken out, to just make an appointment and they would take it out for me. So like I said, as far as right after the procedure, I felt pretty crampy. I just felt nauseated and just not great. So I'm glad that I did take the ibuprofen. It wasn't like the worst experience I've had in my life, but it wasn't super pleasant. I was bleeding quite a bit after this point. I have not had my period since giving birth to Novely because I was breastfeeding, and I switched over to formula about a month ago. So I am now formula feeding and bottle feeding only. I don't breastfeed anymore, but I still have not gotten my period. I had read and done a little bit of research that some people don't get their periods with IUDs. I did talk to my OB about this as well, OB-GYN, and she said that some people just don't get a period with it. So I don't know if I'm gonna be one of those people. When I did get my period before I got pregnant, I always had like light periods. The first couple days would be pretty standard, I guess you could say, and then it lightened up, and I would never go more than like 5 to 7 days. So I don't really know how that portion's going to be. Like I said, because I was breastfeeding for a period of time, I'm not really sure how that portion's going to go. Since getting the IUD, I would say a couple weeks afterwards, I was pretty crampy and just uncomfortable, but it wasn't bad enough that I couldn't get things done or I couldn't function and do my daily life. I have heard from other YouTubers or just people in general who have had IUDs of the same or different kind that they had worse experiences, so definitely do your research and make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. But as far as a birth control option, I think it's pretty great. It may not be for everybody, but it's definitely pretty great for me. Other than the bleeding and the cramping, which is kind of just like a period, there weren't really any side effects for me that I noticed. I did know that when I did the research, you can have like mood swings and different side effects and things with that. I think that I may have had some of those. However, because I stopped breastfeeding, my body was going through a lot of changes hormone-wise anyway. So I don't know how many of those I can really contribute to the IUD experience. But as of this point, we are in February, so I would probably say a couple months out from having my IUD. I don't have any bad things really to say about it. Like I said, I mean, it was uncomfortable at first. It wasn't the most pleasant experience having it put in, but it wasn't terrible. And I would definitely recommend it if you're one of those people who isn't very good about being consistent with a birth control pill or getting the shots or whatever. I personally have only tried the pills and I didn't do super well on them. I had really bad acne. That's actually another thing to note. For me personally, apparently birth control, and I don't know that it matters what type, but I've done pills and I've done now the IUD. No matter what, I get really bad acne. And I think it's just the hormone changes in my body personally that causes that. But I have like painful, like just super painful, uncomfortable, unattractive acne. Not that any acne is attractive, but it's just not great. So that was a side effect I did experience. I'm still having that, but it's not quite as bad. I think my body is kind of stabilizing and getting used to it. Another thing worth noting for me personally, I have been having a lot of trouble lately with nausea and just not feeling great overall. I'm not really sure if that has anything to do with the IUD, if I'm some sort of special case, or if I've got something else going on. I'm not entirely sure. I do have an appointment with my PCP, primary care provider, coming up next week, and I will kind of have them look into that a little bit more. I don't know if I had like food poisoning or something. I took a pregnancy test. I am not pregnant. Everything's good, which is good for us because we have our hands full with this one, huh? Do you want to say hi? Say hello, everybody. Yeah. Anyway, as far as the actual experience goes, I can definitely say that I would personally recommend the Mirena IUD. I haven't tried the other ones. This is the only IUD I've tried, and then like I said, I was on birth control for a period of time as well. But I definitely prefer this to the pills because I couldn't remember to always take it on time, and I don't know, it was just a really big hassle, so it wasn't something that I really wanted to do anymore. This, I can not worry about it. I've never been a good medication person anyway, so that probably wasn't a great option to try to begin with. But that is kind of my experience with the Mirena IUD. I did go back, I believe it was a 1-month follow-up after I had the IUD put in, and they just made sure that everything was in place, that it looked the way it should, and everything was great. So she said that I didn't have to worry about anything until I'm ready to have it taken out or replaced in 5 years. I know there's not, you know, there's no traumatic experience for me, no big story for me to tell and share, but I thought, you know what, I might as well put my story out there and my experience so that you guys can kind of see multiple options if this is something you're looking into. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment down below because I'm really curious if any of you guys have also tried the Mirena or a different IUD and what your personal experience was. So leave that down in the comments below. If you have not already subscribed, please do so down below as well. You'll see the red subscribe letters, click on that, and then you guys can be a part of our little family. Also be sure to turn on the notification bell. That will notify you guys every time I post a new video. If you're new here, I post every Monday and Thursday a new video at 12 p.m. Mountain Time. If you are not new here, you already know that because you guys follow me. But also, be sure to head over to my Instagram account. The information is down in the down box below and follow me there. That will tell you guys every time a new video is coming or once it's been posted. And then I also have little Novely updates and random things that I post on there as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for joining our little family. We love having you guys, and I will see you guys on Thursday for our next video. Bye.